When it becomes apparent that no matter what medicine tries to offer a child, that will not change the fact that this child will die an early death, George Mark Children's House is a place where a family can come with their child to be a family during that very, very difficult time, at the same time that their child can receive the medical care and support that that child needs in order to be comfortable and in order to have their medical needs met.
Well, we heard about the George Mark House when we were in the hospital. It was after Mitchell had gotten diagnosed, and I think they already had an indication that this was a life-ending type of disease that he had.
It was a choice of whether staying in the hospital, going back home, or going to the George Mark House. And that's when we decided maybe we should revisit the George Mark House again, because going back home was just so taxing on us that we didn't really want to do that again. And staying at the hospital, it's just not a great environment to just stay there and listening to all the beeps from the machines and not getting any rest.
And it wasn't anything like I expected. It was just like the moment you walk in, it's just so wonderful here, and everybody is so nice to you, and they understand, and they understand more than you understand. And you don't have to worry about if we didn't want to hold him. I mean, he was held the whole time he was here. I mean, he was never in his crib. He was never in his crib. He was loved every moment of his life.
When we first visited the house, it was just like that, a house. It was warm, it was inviting. Driving up to it gave the sense of calm. So going there and seeing how beautiful it was, and I mean, I can use the word serene. When we got there, Mitchell said that he liked it there. He had been in enough hospitals at that point, so it was a good change. It was a very comfortable place to be.
I like to call it a hybrid between hospital and home, that we provide all of the support of a hospital, but we also provide all of the comforts and the ability to be in a relatively normal kind of a place.
That afternoon, I was looking out the window in the jungle room, and I saw the sun appear, and I go, "Oh, Mitchell, this is so nice here." After the rain had fallen already, and I said, "What do you think?" And he goes, "You're right, Mommy. This is a really nice house." And he goes, "I think I'm going to like it here."
The nice thing was not having to not worry about feeding or putting something on the table for someone else.
In the suite is where Adam and I, or Adam and Rhonda, slept, and then there was a little kitchenette and everything was there, so that you had your own space. And that's the challenge, is making sure that you have an environment that's comfortable for your child who's ill, but not to forget about the rest of your family.
And right down the hall from that apartment are pediatric trained nurses, experts in what they do, 24/7, available to provide needed medical treatments, administration of medications, whatever that child needs is right there at their fingertips, and yet the family is able to be together as they would at home.
There are a lot of other things that you can do, and there are also activities that they can help put together for you. So they put on some special activities for Mitchell and for our family and for some of the other families that were there.
They had a person there that planned events, and so while we were there, they had a big Halloween party. They brought in all kinds of animals, and it was great for not just the kids that were staying there, but the kids who have been there and they can come back. I think that's what's nice about the George Mark House, is that they have activities not just for you there at that time, but they have kind of like a reunion, and people could come back and spend time spending time there at the house. The energy that just emanates from the house is just so serene, so positive.
We were getting out of the car to come here, and I got out of the car and I said, in a way, it feels good to be back.
Our motto here is whatever works. So we don't try to look at what we can't do. We try to look at what we can do. I think that the hydrotherapy system looks very simple and is in fact an extremely complicated, even if you want to call it a medical intervention, but it's a very complicated part of the therapy that we provide for these children and their families.
So this is our Great Vibes room, and it's used for a variety of patients and a variety of situations, but especially children that have some neurological difficulties or difficulties concentrating often find this room to be very soothing with the lights and the patterns and the music. We have a big mat where children can just romp on the floor. We have the LED lights that are good for texture and color. And the hammock here is on like a Hoyer lift system, so patients or family members can comfortably swing in this hammock. It's very supportive on the body. Okay, so this is our playroom. We have a general sort of lounge area, pool table. We have a train set that we're working on restoring, and there's a piano in here. Actually, one day a week we have a music therapist who comes and plays piano here. The TV has a Wii, and so and then in the back and along the walls you see we have things for younger children too. So it's a nice place for families to come. We can really entertain anybody from an infant to adults and parents and relatives. So we have 8 patient rooms. 7 of them have a door to the outside. One's an isolation room, and 7 of them have a window bed. I'll show you one of our themed rooms. They're all painted different with matching window coverings and such to fit the theme of the room. Each room has a full-size bathroom with an open shower area, so a wheelchair can come in, or a patient can stand up and take a shower. There's also a shower bench and a door to the outside that you'll notice is wide enough to accommodate a bed or a wheelchair if it needs to go through, so you have your direct access to the courtyard outside. The window bed is so that a caregiver can sleep in the room with the child, and the beds are interchangeable. A crib can be in here for an infant, or we can put a larger bed in as is here right now.
When you first go in there, they say as soon as you're in our doors, you're forever part of the family. And they mean it. After Mitchell passed, there was a total sense of community. And all of the people there were the staff members, but there were also a lot of families who had lost their children. And you just knew that they understood. We have something in common. And it's a bond, and it's not a nice bond, but it is a bond that you share. I know that there are a lot of families that feel the same way.
All of our friends have been saying that you guys are the strongest people we know, and it has a whole lot to do with George Markhouse, because, like I said, I wouldn't have been able to handle it at home or at the hospital.
It's something that the family that really comes to that difficult time in their child's life should consider it. It's a safe and secure environment for a family to be there at the time of their greatest need.
It's not a tragic thing that we look back at, actually. We just, it's something that we smile about,
George Mark exists to support a family and to allow a family to be a family at one of the most difficult times in anyone's life.
I think that it's genuinely a place that's full of care and love.